Hey everyone, this is Jesse from the Janjo Zone here for a brand new series, a podcast name undecided as of yet, but maybe it'll have one by the time this is uploaded. Here for my first episode of this, I had to go to a very special guest. He is the heart, he is the soul, some even say the voice of GOAT format, JDZ. JDZ, how are you doing?
I'm doing phenomenal, Mr. Janjo. I'm so happy to be back in the zone. I love coming by the Janjo zone. Maybe we should do this more often. But you're too nice. All those things. I don't know who's saying those things. I don't know who you're listening to. I don't know who's getting that information. But I am just a guy. You know what I'm saying? I am JDZ. I play goats. You know what I'm saying? If you watch goatformat.com, if you tune into those videos, you know who I am. But I think Janjo is being a little bit too nice. You know what I'm saying? How are you doing? I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you. I'm doing well myself. Excited as always to continue this passion of Yu-Gi-Oh in a different format. Hopefully, everyone is recepting this video well. Obviously, he'll comment below. So, for those who don't know what exactly you do in the Yu-Gi-Oh community, why don't you let them all know?
Okay. So right now, what I do, I would say that I am the YouTuber. All right, I don't know if I use that term loosely. I make videos for goatformat.com, and I'm also a tournament organizer. We host events, we make the videos, we try to get people to play. Like my biggest goal and my biggest passion, if you tuned into any of my streams, if you're watching this, you know who I am. You probably heard all these stories 1,000 times. But my biggest passion right now is to ensure that the game of Goat format, the format that I play and I'm a part of, can continue to grow. So it's just a lasting thing that goes on. I think when I become 80 or 90 or something, and I can look back and I could still see people playing Goat format or interacting with the cards that I played in my youth, I think it makes me incredibly happy. So that's what we're doing now. We're just trying to get the word out about Go format, ensure people are playing Go format, ensuring that the tournaments are happening, cool videos are coming out about it, streams are happening, and just to continue to grow and develop the format to ensure that it stays around. So that's kind of what I do now. You know, if you know, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Much like GOAT format, you'll outlive us all.
Oh yeah, no me, no. I am not long for this earth. You know, I'm too unhealthy. I'm trying to get my fitness under control too. That's another little passion of mine. But goats and I don't know. Maybe.
Hey, you have to even out those bottles of water that you just chug like a champion
Well,
with those bacon double whoppers with cheese. That's just what you got to do. We only live once.
no. Hey, I'm off the Whopper train. Okay, I'm
Oh,
back. I'm back to a standard style. I'm trying to be healthy, man. Cause I'm getting old too, man. I'm getting old, and so is Goats is like 25 years old. I'm getting old. The people that play Goats are getting old. You got to start looking into your health and your fitness. Okay, trying to, be trying to be around. To make it to that 80 years old that I'm talking about.
so you say that, yet as far as I see a Burger King crown right behind you.
Oh, that's old. That's a reminder. That's a reminder. I keep that on the shelf just in case. You know what I'm saying? Whenever somebody goes full Whopper, I got to pull that bad boy out and let people know what time it is. When the blade knight hits the field, that's why I bust that bad boy as a reminder. I can get through a Whopper.
All
I
right.
could smash a Whopper. Give me a Whopper right now. I'll absolutely destroy it. But I'm trying to clean it up. I got to clean up the diet. I have to.
We'll have to have a Whopper off sometime. All right. Now, speaking of meat, we got the main meat here. You ready for this?
I like that transition. No
Yes.
pause there.
I
Just talking about the
am
meat right on. Okay.
I'm as smooth as peanut butter. I have formed a list that I have on my secondary screen over here. I have come up with 10 questions. I call these the Titanic 10. The
Okay.
hardest questions I could come up with some in there from some questions my humble subscribers and patrons have asked, and
Okay.
they'll be a little sprinkled throughout here. So the first question, are you ready for this?
I'm
Are you
hopefully
ready?
hopefully I don't get stumped. I can't come in. I can't be on the first episode of the Janjo Zone podcast, name undetermined, and get the stump chumped. I can't be the
Mm-hmm.
chump out here getting stumped. So let's see if I could do this. I'm excited. Let's do this, Janjo. Let's make it happen.
Janjo,
Let's
don't
go.
mess around. All right.
Let's do it.
Question number one. So, and this is not necessarily a question per se, but one thing you like to bring up on your streams is Dogtown.
Okay.
You know, all these players, they got the dog in them. They end up in Dogtown, which is, from my understanding, a place where the losers are at. I wouldn't know, but this is just what I understand.
Okay.
I've come up with some alternatives, and I would like to ask you what you think of these alternatives, just so we're covering all our bases and not just stuck in Dogtown. So the first one I got, Cat Village.
Cat Village. I'll have to first. We have to go back a little bit. Okay, we have to talk about Dogtown and that dog. Okay, and the dog. When I mentioned that, because you're saying Dogtown,
right?
That's a different place than Dogtown. You know what I'm saying? That dog. You got to have that dog in you. Okay, because if you got to understand, some of these tournaments, they last 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours sometimes. 10 hours of nonstop GOAT format Yu-Gi-Oh! If you are playing a double elimination and you go down to the losers bracket, aka Dogtown, and at round number 1, you're going to have to play probably about 12 matches to get to the finals. So if you don't dig deep, if you look at it and say, because most times, people will just go down and they'll just drop from the tournament because it's like, there's no way I'm going to win 12 matches in a row and then double up the person and win his final and go on. Those people, they don't have that dog. Okay, you have to have something in you to say, you know what, I'm down, but I'm not out. I got that dog. I'm gonna scrap, I'm gonna fight, and I'm gonna make it through. That's why I call it Dogtown, because you go down there, you're automatically gonna be sad. But what you do when you're sad, it's kind of like the opposite of, it's kind of like courage, but you gotta have that dog. It's more than courage. It's the dog in you that has come out to thrive and push yourself on. That's why it's Dogtown. So it can't be cat, meow. Cat, it's too sensitive. It's no offense to the cats out there, to the cat lovers. It's too sensitive. You got to have the dog in you.
You got to have that heart of the underdog.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay.
So it can't be Cat Village. But let's hear the rest. Let's hear the rest of the calls. Maybe.
All right. So we can't have Cat Village, but what about Parakeet Parkway?
Parakeet Parkway again. It can't do it. Parakeets are cool. I love parakeets, man. They make some beautiful chirps. Birds, very avian, very flighty. Parakeet Parkway are probably the guys who drop out. The guys and gals who drop out 01, they can go to Parakeet Parkway. Okay,
fly away.
They're out of the tournament, so they don't got that dog. You got to have that dog.
All right, Hamster City.
Hamster City. Hamster City. Now, still, Hamster City is actually kind of good.
No.
Because you got to go ham. You got to go ham when you got that dog. You must go ham. Like, let me think of some famous dogs we got. Ghost Rider, very, very prototypical dog. He'll go 12-1 real quick. Okay, he goes ham. You got to go ham. Maybe you can go ham in Hamster City as a dog, but I don't think it's a. I don't know if it's strong enough. I don't know if that can overdo it.
All right. I think I have a stronger one for you. Turtle Speedway.
Turtle Speedway. I'm still
no, nothing.
I'm still nothing. I don't think it's there. I don't think it's quite there. I don't think Turtle Speedway is quite there. Still missing a few elements. It's just missing something.
All right.
It's got to have that punch to it.
I got one more for you. I didn't want to bring this one out, but I think I have to at this point. Chocolate Mountain.
Chocolate Mountain. Chocolate Mountain. You know what, Janjo? I don't want to offend the Janjo Zonians out there. You know, the Janjos out there. But looking at me, okay, looking at who I am and what I am, you know, I can't be out here taking people to Chocolate Mountain. That's just gonna have some connotations that I don't think the GOAT world or the Janjo Zone is prepared. The repercussions of being in Chocolate Mountain with me in there, as people might hear me say that, hey, I'll take you to Chocolate Mountain, and they're going to call the people on me, and I'm not trying to take anyone to Chocolate Mountain.
I thought this was a children's card game.
This is a children's card game. You can't have your boy, JD, in there, JDZ, taking people to Chocolate Mountain. It's
okay.
Just...
Well, moving on to our following question, question 2. You survived the first one, but this is a Titanic 10, and we have to start hitting some of the tougher questions. We're gonna scale up a little bit here. That was about flour. Now we're getting our way to a little spicier territory here.
Okay. Okay.
What does JDZ stand for?
Oh, okay. This is easy. I thought you said this was hard. This is easy. Okay. And if you know me, if you follow the vibes, you know what it is. So JDZ. Okay. JDZ. JDZ is actually an old nickname that I had way back in the day when I was an actual Yu-Gi-Oh player. When I was playing the format, it was just Yu-Gi-Oh. It wasn't Go format Yu-Gi-Oh. It was just Yu-Gi-Oh. And where I'm from, during that time, having DZ on everything was just the hype as your nickname. So my actual initials are JD, and my actual name that I've always gone by for a really long time has always been JD. So as a nickname, people would call me JDZ. JDZ. JD. It was just a thing. It was JDZ. Everything was DZ this, DZ that. Okay, so I was JDZ. Now that I am in middle age time, I'm plus 30. I can't be JDZ anymore. It's just not. It's just not cool. It's uncouth. I would say it's quite uncouth for an adult old man to be JDZ. So to kind of pay homage to my old nickname, it's just JDZ, and that's it. So it seems a little more polished and established as JDZ opposed to JDZ, or you can just call me JD. I'm fine with that too. So that's why. That's where the JDZ comes from. Old nickname, a rebranded old nickname. That's what it is.
So I have to call you JDZ. I can't revert back to like JDZ.
Oh yeah.
I can do JDZ. Okay.
Of course, Janjo, you can. Not everyone, okay? 'Cause you're cool. I mean, not everyone. No, I'm kidding. People can comment. People still kind of if you speed it up, it's still the same thing. If you call me JDZ, I'll respond to JDZ. I'll answer JDZ. I'll be JDZ, but people know me as JDZ. So cool.
All right, excellent. All right, our next question is actually from a subscriber.
Oh.
How do you keep that mustache looking so good?
Ooh. Oh, I mean, it's just it's honestly, you probably can answer this too. I mean, as both of us are mustachioed menaces, looking at yourself and looking at me, we are two men of distinction. It's just natural oils, natural oils and a little bit of primping and promping. All right. Keeping that thing tight, making it look nice. Don't let it get too overgrown. You make it look good. You take pride in the mustache. All right. If you can have a mustache, because some people, Janjo, believe it or not, some people in this world, they don't have the ability to grow a decent mustache. They just can't do it. Or they just don't, it doesn't look right. If you got a good mustache, you know what I'm saying? It just commands the room. People say, hey, that guy must be in charge because he's got the mustache. That's why you got to keep it. So it's just natural oils, natural juices and berries, just a little bit of, you know what I'm saying? Maybe some grease, maybe a little bit of combing, and then you just set it up and you're good to go. You know what I'm saying? So fire and forget on the mustache. If you don't got a mustache, I'm sorry. If you got a beard, that's great, but it's nothing like a good old Tom Selleck and a nice floral shirt to kind of set it off, man. That's just how it is. Know the vibes.
I was actually Magna PI for last year's Halloween.
There you go. So as what do you do for your mustache? Let's do some. We can get a mustache back and forth support group to help each other as men with mustaches. Maybe we can do something. I don't know.
I do nothing to my mustache. I just shave everything else. It's rather kind of wild. I probably need to trim it. I probably should use some more product in it. Maybe some vitamin water.
Yeah, just natural juices and berries. You know what I'm saying? No seed oils. All right. No nothing that hasn't passed some severe animal testing. All right. No animal testing. No animals were harmed in the making of this beautiful lip guardian here.
I mainly have the mustache because other chunks of my beard has like mad gray hairs in it. So the mustache is like this is like the last of the Titanic before it sinks in the ground.
It looks nice though. It does. It's giving a real Wyatt Earp situation. A real your facial hair is quite good. I'm quite jealous.
Thank you. All right, moving on. Next question. A little bit of a lighter one. We brought it up, and now we're going to bring it a little back down here. How did you get involved with GOAT format?
How did I get involved with GOAT format? Okay, that's a great question. All right, so like I just stated before, way back in the day, I played Yu-Gi-Oh when it originally first came out. Like I was big Yu-Gi-Oh, huge into Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm all about it. Just took over it. During that time, it just swept my local area and just like was like wildfire. Fast forward a little while, I started getting more and more into it. I became fully immersed in my local scene of Yu-Gi-Oh, and it just became GOAT format over time. And once GOAT format kind of came to an end during that original time, back in 2005, 2006, in that era, I had to quit because I had to move on. I had to go do work. I had to become, an adult, a dreaded adult. I had to leave it behind. And then fast forward, till now, uh, the COVID happens and it shuts us all down. Duel Links, was it Duel Link? Yeah, the cell phone game Duel Links comes
Mm.
out, and I started finding out about that. I was playing Duel Links heavily at the time, and then I started thinking like, man, what happened to this game? What happened to this game? And I started getting on the internet and looking it up. Come to find out, I actually stumbled upon a video online. Somebody had made a replay review. I was like, wow, I recognize some of these cards. I remember all this stuff. This is really cool. And I started getting into it, get into the Discord. I started playing online. And then I'm like, wow, this is really nice. And I just fall in love with it all over again. And I really was enjoying myself, having a blast with the format, having a blast with the games. And I was like, you know what? No one is like really making, because during that time, like
Mm.
there was some things that happened. And during that time, no one was making like GOAT format YouTube video. There was a big break in it because people kind of got burned out or they just didn't have time and videos just weren't coming out. So I was like, okay, I've always wanted to try to make videos. I'm having a blast with what I'm doing. I'm loving it. And I just want to start making videos about this thing that I just love. So that's when I started my own channel, JDZ Plays Goats. I really don't make too many videos there anymore, but I'm going to eventually start going back. I made the JDZ Plays Goats video channel, and I started doing videos, just like replay reviews of myself playing, talking about the game, covering tournaments, just doing all this stuff. And then Scully, who is, for lack of better words, I call him the quote unquote president of GOAT format. He's been doing a lot of work, been grinding really hard on the format for a really long time. He reaches out to me and he's like, "Hey, I see what you're doing. You're making great videos. I respect I respect your hustle. I respect everything you got going on. What do you think about coming in and like making videos for us?" Because right now we just don't have anybody doing it, and you're
Mm.
doing it, and you're already covering tournaments anyway. Why don't you just come in, join us, make videos, and start working with us? And I was like, of course, you know what I'm saying? Because like I have an unhealthy obsession with GOAT format. Like I love it. I love it probably more than I should. And he can sense that. And now it's kind of just been this relationship. Like the past year, we've had the tournaments have kind of grown up. The YouTube channel has kind of taken off. We're having like it's really starting to happen because I think people can feel the passion. People can see how much I enjoy it, and people can see how much other people around them are enjoying it. It's just a really beautiful thing. So that's kind of how I got in contact where I am now, and that's where I came from. So you know that's just how it is. Sorry,
All
I'm
right.
I'm
That's
ranting.
that's 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 a pretty good story. I mean, we see a lot of people that end up going for on uploading videos to GOAT format before they kind of move on back to doing their own thing, or maybe they stick around. Like to see
Mhm.
them kind of recruit a lot of people out there. So if you're, if you're out there interested in making GOAT format content or that kind of stuff, definitely consider making content for the GOAT format channel.
For sure, and I put that out all the time. Like again, I say that all the time. Like, hey, this is not my channel because everyone's always like, oh, you're doing great. This is your channel. You're doing great. And I'm always like, hey, this isn't my channel. And people have done it in the past. Like they'll come in, they'll say, hey, I got something I want to say, or I have a video that I made. I don't have a YouTube channel, but I have something I want to put out about it. We'll check it out. If it's good, we'll put it out there and we'll share it to people because at the end of the day, like I don't foresee myself being able to make a living off of this. Let's be I'm being realistic, it's just not big enough.
Hmm.
But what I can do is include, my all of something into something that I really care about legitimately. And I mentioned that it's a huge passion of mine because this game means so significantly much to me just because of the time that I played it. The nostalgia is so great because I didn't have, a lot of things growing up. I didn't have a lot of money and financial. I had a lot of strife and issues in my own personal life, and this game kind of isolated me from a lot of that. So as a thank you to this game, I want to make sure I can give as much as I can to it, find as many people who played then they can come back into it, introduce new players to it now, and it'll just go from there. So that's just my goal. It's not a financial thing. It's not a pride thing of like being the best anything. I just want to make sure as many people can have access to this game and play this game as possible. And I'll continue to do that for as long as I possibly can because that's just what it's all about for me.
Hey, what more can we ask for you? Thank you for all the work you've been doing.
Of course.
So moving on,
Okay. Okay.
we have another subscriber question.
Oh. Okay.
This one is, what do you think is the best format up to this point? And I've added a little thing for me to add to this, and I'm gonna add aside from Goat or Edison because that's the obvious answers.
Okay. 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 Aside and again for me, to whoever that subscriber is, um, this is one of my least favorite things to talk about because a lot of times people like to compare Goat to this, compare Edison to that, compare Goat to Edison, to compare Edison to Tengu. They compare it, but there's really isn't, in my opinion, there really isn't any merits to compare because at the end of the day, it's always going to be about your own personal preference, and it's going to be very difficult to rank your preferences versus someone else's preference. Like for me, I love vote format more than anything, and I think it's the best format of all. Someone else might say, "Hey, this format has this format has that. I like this format because of these reasons." Who am I to say my format is better than yours because your opinions and what you want to get out of it might be significantly different than mine? But with that being said, without as being as objective as I can, I'll say not Go format, not Edison format. I don't play it too often. I don't play it too often, and I could be way off beat, but I love watching the Dark Arm Dragon formats, Teledad format. I love
Okay.
watching it. I love Teledad format, even though again I know it's like a tier zero format. It's got one deck, it's got this, it's got that. But those duels just seem so funny to me, and it just seemed like two people are just like on monster trucks, just like blasting each other. It's the games go very quickly. They're like over in maybe 5 minutes, 4 minutes. It's so funny to look at when people play Teledad format. Like I said, I don't play too many other formats. I'm learning how to branch out. I'm getting into Edison. I'm getting into Tengu Plant. I'm getting into Perfect Circle. I like that one too. Perfect Circle is really good, but I kind of focus a lot of my time and energy on goats right now. But if I had to say, I love watching Teledad and Perfect Circle. Those are my two other. If I had to say, not Edison and not goat, those two.
I do agree. I do think Perfect Circle needs more love. I don't think it gets nearly as
Yeah.
much love as
No.
probably like I would say the best of the GX formats. Even though I am a fan of other GX formats, I think Trooper has its merits. I think Chaos Return can be pretty fun.
Another one of my goals going forward is become more of just a well-rounded duelist in general. You know what I'm saying? I don't play too many other formats. And then people will come into the streams or they'll be talking and they'll speak as if it's just common knowledge. Like, oh, it's about this card. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what that is. Like, oh, really? You don't know what this is? Oh, well, and that just makes me feel like I'm still a noob, And I'm just like, dude, I literally just never heard of that. I'm like, oh, that's just such an old school card. You should know that. So I'm actively trying to catch up and learn more about the current game, the formats that happen after Gold, so I can just be more well-rounded as a duelist. As people are coming back, I'm trying to move forward.
I mean, Teldad is pretty fun to watch. Like you said, it's like monster trucks. It's sometimes you have to watch a car crash in slow motion while eating an Auntie Anne's pretzel. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm pretend like I didn't. I'm pretend like I didn't hear that. I'm just.
Have you considered going backwards? You talk about four, but what about backwards? Like Yugi
Um,
Kaiba format, Critter format, Chaos
I,
Yada format.
I've played a little bit of Yugi Kaiba, and I've played a little bit of like Chaos Yada form. I grew up. You gotta understand. I grew up with this. Like this is people saying going back. This is like my childhood. So I grew up and I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Peak, Chaos Emperor Dragon, Black Luster Soldier, Delinquent Duo, Pot of Greed, Grapes of Charity, Mirage of Nightmare, Yada Garasu, Witch of Black Forest. I grew up Painful Choice, all of that. I was Imperial Order. I grew up in that. Like that was like my peak play. And I'm telling you right now, the trauma that format caused me mentally, it's just so high
You and a
that
lot of
I don't know if
people.
I don't know if I could I don't know if I can go back to playing that. Just the amount of money you spent trying to get those cards
Mm,
and three mystical space typhoons, just how I'm not gonna say bad again because somebody might play that format still and they just love it because of the nostalgia and everything that goes along with that. But I'm telling you, it's I don't I wouldn't want to go back to that. I do want to kind of look back at like was it is it Android format or the one with just like that ends at like Labyrinth of Nightmare? I think that one seems pretty
yeah.
fun. And the stuff you can do with like Miss Tomato, I think that's really cool. I think there are some cool stuff, but I typically kind of like I said, I'm not going back too much. If anything, I'm gonna go for it before I go back.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I get that. I appreciate that. So, moving on to the next question. Speaking of going forward, we have one of my questions.
Uh-oh.
So, you currently live in Seattle, Washington. Now, my records show that you were actually born in a hospital. Explain that.
Oh, okay. Born in a hospital. Uh,
Yep.
I mean, is that true? I need to see that. I need to see your records. Who are you talking to? Who are you getting your information from?
Top
Where is this
top
coming from?
men. Top men.
I need your sources, but that is true. That is true. I am in the Pacific Northwest and I think I was born in a hospital, hopefully. But how could you ever really know? You just assume. People tell me I was born in a hospital.
I mean, most people probably wouldn't think you don't live in Seattle, considering you're not just depressed like everyone else.
Hey, you gotta be your own sunshine, you know. And it's summertime too, so I am actually getting sunlight. My vitamin D levels are through the roof, so I don't. The seasonal depression is kind of behind us now, so maybe that might have some parts to it.
Would you
That might have
recommend?
some pieces to it.
Would you recommend people move to Seattle?
I would not. I would not. I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. Unless you're just balling outrageous. If you are already well to do and established, you can pretty much move anywhere you want. But if you're just a struggling lad, or you're just someone that's on the breakthrough of life, I wouldn't do it. I really wouldn't. I would literally go anywhere else. If it was up to me. But you know, again, I can't tell people how to live their life because there are some great things about being in the Pacific Northwest. You nailed it. The weather is terrible. You know, the people are kind of rude sometimes, but I would not recommend. And it's very expensive too. It's very expensive.
Mm.
So tread softly with caution, etc. Moreover, don't do it.
All
But you
right.
could.
Well, I probably won't move to Seattle, but I will move on to our next question here,
Hey,
which
air
is
horns.
which is another and the last of our subscriber questions.
Okay.
What's your stance on Highlander formats?
Highlander format is fun. I would say Highlander format for those that just so we have the same definition. Highlander format is when you have one card in your entire deck, and I believe the deck has to be maxed out too. Is that correct, or is it just 40 cards that are all different?
Uh, I just know that you can only have one copy of each card in a deck. I don't know if it
Okay.
necessarily has to be maxed out.
Okay. Some people play it. You have to have 60, and it has to be all different. Or some people you just have to play 4 units off. I think it's really cool. I think it's really cool. I think in Goat format, like I think in Goat format EU, go and check their Discord out too. They're like I call them our sister Discord. They host events all the time for their special deck challenges. I think they do Highlander events sometimes. So I love it. I think it's really fun, and it kind of gives you an opportunity to do like some different deck building things in Go format and still play at a semi competitive or at a competitive level.
Mm.
Because sometimes, in my opinion, sometimes in Go format when you're on the when you're focused on the incredibly um, highly contested like competitive events, it can become like, okay, these are the best decks, these are the best cards, these are the cards you have to play if you want to win. And it kind of takes away some of the left and right limits that people can do when it comes to deck building. So it's important that you kind of like take some breaths, clear it up a little bit, play some different formats, play the game, the same game that you love a different way to prevent yourself from getting burned out if that's if that's your bag, or if you're just into the competitive angle and you just want to do that, that's also fine too. So I love in a nutshell to answer the question, I love Highlander format and I'll play it whenever it presents itself for me to play. for sure.
Yeah, any way people are interested in having more fun with the game, I mean, why not? No harm done
Absolutely. Oh
with
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Another thing that people may know that you're a big fan of are the spicy tech.
Mm.
Now, we've seen many
Love it.
duelists introduce new tech. We've seen duelists try out new tech all over the GOAT format scene. What specific tech do you want to see work?
Oh man, there's so many. I don't think we have enough time to list them all. But just off the top of my head, without any practice or any kind of rehearsal or anything like that, I would love to see the Fiend Mega Cyber take off. I've been preaching Fiend Mega Cyber. I think can be played. I think the card is really good. I think it's gonna be everyone's playing Graveyard Spy. You play Fiend Mega Cyber, you can put it on the field. It can attack over, and it could just be a lot of pressure. It's a dark monster, it's 6 stars. You can meta all this kind of stuff. I think Fiend Mega Cyber is cool. I think Warrior Returning Alive can be really cool. I think a lot of people won't see it coming, especially like in aggressive decks, Warrior decks. Yeah, you get double BLS. I think that could be a cool card too. I think a card like I said Bait Doll a while, but maybe that card just might be Cope. Magic Drain might be Cope. Light Force Sword, I think, is a cool card that can be teched in. It might also be Cope too. But I think like I mentioned before, the thing about Go format is that it's really old. And every single card has been placed into the microscope and looked at for years now. So to come in to put a card into your deck and say, okay, this card might work, it's always going to be a risk associated with it. It's always going to be a gamble, and it's always going to be what you want to get out of it. So if you want to just get out, like for me personally, I have extreme joy with playing cards that aren't played often, even if it's suboptimal. I just enjoy doing stuff that's different. I enjoy being flashy. I enjoy that. That just brings me joy because it's I don't know. It just takes me. It just takes me back. Whereas other players, they just want to play the best possible cards. So it's really hard to include stuff into those types of strategies. But you still can do that in Go format. And you still can have success, and you can still can beat people playing off meta or rogue techs. But for me, I think we're returning live. Fiend Mega Cyber. I think what's another one? What's another one? Heavy Slump is another card that can just like blow people out. That's severely underplayed. No Minister Nation, I think, can come back. It's so many cards like that I can. If I sat down and like made a list, it'll be 50, 60 cards easy that I would just want to try and see, and it probably can have some marginal results, and it could be cool.
Yeah, it's cool seeing a lot of like you see a lot of like GOAT format YouTubers out there. They tend to try a little more spicy stuff than the people who play more so in the tournaments. Like I do see a lot of like the Warrior Returning Alive and some like weird like Reasoning Gate decks or something, or something to like bring back cards. I really like that card. I don't think it was too long ago either that we saw. I believe it was GOAT format Italia, like one of their tournaments where there was a Water Slump deck. I believe.
Aqua Slump. Aqua
Yeah.
Slump. That deck is cool, man. That's a really cool deck.
Covering Fire. I know that's one you've been a fan
I like
of.
that. I like that card because of the artwork. The artwork on that card is just so clean to me. I don't know why it looks so cool because it's just so dynamic or whatever. So maybe not the actual card effect itself, but just the way that card looks is really cool. And I remember I pulled an Ultimate Rare one like way back in the day, and I just thought that card was nice. It always has a special place in my heart. Like cards that I pull just have this deeper meaning to me. I don't know why. But you brought up a great point. Like speaking of spice, you're talking about like people who play some really cool decks. I'm a huge fan of the Italian Go format scene and the stuff they're doing over there. Like they are still figuring out a way to come up with like spicy, hot new decks all the time, and they're playing them in like not just regular tournaments, not just small tournaments, 16, 20 per person. They're playing them in like multi-hundred person tournaments, and they're having results with like these really really cool decks. It happens all the time. The online game is a little bit different for reasons reasons I probably can't go into right now, but there's a lot of reasons why the online game is just going to be a little bit different. But the Italian meta, I love the Italian meta, the German meta, the South African meta. Everywhere you go in the world, it's going to be slightly different. The New York meta, the Pacific Northwest meta, people play different cards, and IRL and online could not be more different, in my opinion, anyway.
All right, yeah. I mean, there's like an endless stream of tech that could be played, and like you could
Oh
go
yeah.
on forever about tech options. Like I mean, if you want content, like Oh boy,
I
I mean, that's all you can
I
do.
have I have I would have I have so many. I think like I said, there's so many things you can do. There's so many cards you can try to play. But again, you have to look yourself in the mirror and you have to ask yourself, like, what do I want? I wanna throw curveballs at my opponent. I wanna try to build a deck and I wanna see if I can make that idea work. And I want to keep doing it and keep doing it until it actually works. That's where I get my joy. That's where I as far as what I take from the game when I play. So if I sit there for me and I just load, Chaos Turbo or the best decks or Warriors and just kind of drill those and play them and win and play the same strategy over and over again. For me personally, and again, this might not be you or it might not be the next person, I would get bored. And I couldn't personally, I couldn't sit there and just load the same deck over and over and over and keep playing it. I have to change it up constantly. I have to constantly try to do something different just to keep my brain working, just to keep it fresh for me. So,
I mean, yeah,
I'll always keep trying it.
yeah, if it wasn't for people trying out stuff, we wouldn't be seeing cards like Interdimensional Matter Transporter or Jing Hu seeing more play.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, we do see it like once in a while in tournaments nowadays, which is really cool to
You
see.
do. You do. You'll still just the other day we saw the outstanding dog Marin come on in there getting played. Go figure.
I
Who
mean,
would have thought they could see that?
you got to play outstanding cards, I suppose.
Hey, there it is.
All right, we made it to the ninth question. Are you ready for the
Ooh,
ninth question?
I'm ready.
Are you
I'm locked
ready?
and loaded.
Gotta sit down for
I'm
this
locked.
one.
I'm down. I'm heavy slumped.
What's your opinion on the housing market?
Ooh, curveball, man. Okay. Man, this took a left turn quick. Okay. This took a left turn quick. Well, if you tune into the program, you guys know that sometimes I'll get into the housing situation in our country, in the world. I think it's bad. For a lack of a better words, I think the housing market is bad. I think it's so bad, so much so that it's going to become. I don't want to get too political on a Yu-Gi-Oh podcast show, but I think it's really really bad, and so bad that it's going to cause some serious significant problems to our economy in the future, I would say. But for lack of better words, I think if you have a property, you should hang on to it. You should reinvest into it. If you don't, you're kind of screwed. You might have to move to a different area and try to secure, a home for yourself. It's just really, really bad right now because it's so expensive and borrowing money is so high. So I would say very bad as my answer. Final answer, housing market. It's
That's great for me to know. Someone who currently lives in an apartment with a roommate.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah,
One day you'll create your Duel's Kingdom compound, and we're all just
I'll bring everyone in. That's the plan. We have a swamp in Florida. If you're ever in Florida, where are you at, right? By the way, where is your location?
I am currently in Maryland.
Maryland is cool. The DMV area is cool.
Yep,
I like Maryland.
DMV area, sort of close to DC.
Yeah, there you go. That's an expensive spot. I gotta get the hell out of there. You gotta
I
get
did for a few years. I was in South Dakota for a few years.
Oh, okay. Definitely gotta get the hell out of there too. I don't know where to go.
Well, I went there, then I
know where
came
to go.
back. So
Okay.
I'm.
Okay. I don't know where to go, but I know I've been to DC. Is extremely expensive. All the areas surrounding DC are pretty expensive.
I live like an hour out, so it's not like too bad. Like where I'm at. I mean, it's not as good as South Dakota, but it's also South Dakota. So
No, you're also in South Dakota, so that's another part. That's another piece. That's another piece of that puzzle. I don't know. You got to get out of it. It's I don't know, but at a certain point, I'm going to keep saying, hey, go to this place. Either the place that you go to isn't the best because it has nothing going on for it, or it has a lot of stuff going on for it, which means everyone wants to be there, which means it's extremely expensive to live. Like, what are you gonna do? I guess it's just a catch-22.
Yeah,
man.
Pick your poison.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? It's rough.
But not end on a sour note. I have the final question here, and this is more of a suggestion for me, but I have a spice tech for you.
Okay.
Now, have you ever heard of this card? It's a trap card called Penalty Game.
Penalty Game. Is that the one that Penalty Game? Is that the one it has like two effects? One lets you draw a card, or one lets you take a card from your opponent's hand or something like
Yes,
that.
so its
What is
effect, the card was released in Flaming Eternity. It is a normal
Mhm.
trap card. Its effect reads, when your opponent has 4 cards in their hand, activate one of these effects. Your opponent cannot draw during their next draw phase, or your opponent cannot activate spell trap cards this turn.
I think I am familiar with that card. The reason that card isn't played is because you have to have exactly 4 cards. That's the only reason. If
Mm-hmm.
that card says less than 4 cards or just what is it, four, at least 4 cards, something like that, kind of like if it read like Trap Does Shoot, I think everyone would play it. But the fact that that card says 4 cards is like mandatory. The way it's written, 4 cards is mandatory to that card effect, if I'm not mistaken. So for that reason alone, it's unplayable because, like I said, Go format as a format is like it's good. It's very black and white. Either this card is good
Mm-hmm.
or this card is bad. And people will look at it and say, "Oh, that card has these too many conditions. It's bad. Get it out." And they won't. It will just be like over in a realm alone. Whereas if you want to try it, you can try it and you can pick it up and you can put it in your deck and you can give it a shot. But then you're going to come into issues where, hey, they got 6 cards in their hand. I have this card and it's worthless. Or maybe you can wait for them to set something to try to chain it or something like that. But I think it might have too many issues with its conditions to be played. So
Okay.
unfortunately, I don't know if penalty game will go, but maybe you could try it. Give it a shot. All right,
Yeah.
when do you play goats? Do you play goats sometimes, Janjo? You got to get into the goat world. I want to see you into some of these events. I want to see you out here playing.
I would if I had more free time. I'm usually
Yeah,
busy making content.
true.
But I do have a GOAT format deck built. It's a
Ah,
like a Horus deck with some like
nice,
fire spice.
nice. Let's go.
Yes, it's very very fun. I like to just build total and utter garbage and trash and jank rogue stuff.
That's the life, man. That's the best life. I'm telling you. And also, not even just building like stuff like that, but having like a low tier deck and playing like low tier tournaments for me is like fun. It's extremely fun.
Yeah,
Or
I
having like
mhm.
band like doing like extra limited series, or you just have like a limited card pool or cubing, or there's so many different ways to play, and getting it all together and like doing that, like playing like low tier jank stuff, way fun, extreme fun, man.
Yeah, I'll do it with
So
my friend like once in a while, and he has a Koitsu deck.
oh yeah, that sounds
So
like a good time. That sounds like a good time.
he just saw the deck. He's like, I guess I'm building Koitsu and Aitsu. I'm like, all right, if that's what you want to, you know,
Have you ever got
sink
hit with a 3,000 from that?
once,
Okay.
like once. It's very rare.
Doesn't that thing have like Fairy Meteor Crush or something too? I have to look at that card again. It does something
Uh,
else. It has like it boosts attack by 3,000 and it does
it
like
has some sort of
piercing, I think.
protection.
Okay.
I think I'm
I think it
not
does something.
entirely sure.
I have to look it up.
That that
Those
that
cards look so strange, man.
I first saw Koitsu. I had an OCG copy of it, and just
Hmm.
seeing, and this is like I don't know 2003 or whatever. Seeing this card that has like 12, 10 or 12 stars with a box of effects. Like I thought this was basically a god card,
Yeah.
and it turns out it's just some crappy union monster of a purple or a blue guy on a paper airplane.
With his cheeks just out, man.
Yeah,
Just a blue cheeked out guy. Very
yeah,
cool.
it's
I
totally
like it.
wild. So that was the Titanic 10. How you feeling
All right.
after that marathon?
You know what? I don't feel safe. I feel like I dodged the iceberg and I'm going to make it safely to my destination. I
There
think
you
I
go.
think we nailed it. I think we nailed it. I really do.
Excellent. Any
I really
any
do.
any shout outs you want to give?
Of course, of course. If I can, I would like to shout out you for thank you for hosting and having me on here. It means a lot. I hopefully the Janjo Zone into the Zone podcast takes off and is flourishing and is just a great thing. I also want to shout out to goatformat.com and the Goat World, all the Goat Format duelists out there who are playing. Or if you're interested in playing a Goat Format event, come on in, check out the Goat Format YouTube channel. Maybe I can put that in the description here or something. Get on over there, check out what we're doing, get into the goatformat.com Discord and all of that. You know what I'm saying? I really am trying to help grow this thing. So if you tried Go Format in the past, or if you grew up playing, it's just the same game. It's lots of fun. It's a no pressure situation. Get over there and play as much as you can. I want to shout out my team too. I would be remiss if I didn't shout out the Ultra Instincts Yu-Gi-Oh! Dueling team. Those guys and gals over there, Ultra Instinct. They keep me grounded. They help me out. We play some games. Good friends. I made a lot of friends in this community, and those are some of my best ones. So I have to shout out to all of them, and just the staff at GoFormat.com, Scully, Maskus, Necromancy, Spooky, the whole crew, TK, everyone who's ever helped out with Go Format behind the scene, all the staff over there, Bluetooth, my creative team now, Cosmo, and everyone. Like, I know I'm missing a ton of people, but you're literally shout out to everyone that's behind the scenes, because I know that as the person who's making these videos, and as the person who sits on the streams, and as a person who is out front, it seems like, oh, I'm some kind of, I hate to even say like, oh, well, it's some kind of star or some kind of thing, but I wouldn't be able to do any of this stuff if it wasn't for the people who came before me, and the people behind the scenes that helped me out, and the people who are like doing a lot of heavy lifting, the judges, and the people who do the tournament organizing, and the people who do everything. So shout out to everyone who's making Go Format. Stick around. Shout out to everyone who's playing Go Format, and shout out to everyone who will play Go Format in the future years to come. Sorry, long-winded.
Oh, of course. I'll let you get anything you need to say out of the way. But yeah, thank you, JDZ, for being the first guest on I don't know, Into the Zone.
Into the Zone.
I kind of like that. I kind of like that.
We're gonna call it. We're gonna call. I'll give you your jingle right now, so you can save this. Into the Zone, Janjo Zone. Come on into the zone, like that. You can have that free, no charge. Take that with you, and it's yours now.
All right, I will consider it. Thank you for this. Thank you for this gift. The gift of your velvety smooth lung breath.
Of course. All right.
Thank
you for having me.
And thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone who's been watching. And I'll see you all next time.